Finally! I did not think that it would be so hard to get this much blood and water out of him, since he has been dead for years. But time is time and the task is now done. But I would love to get another body and do this process the right way rather than having someone else destroy it through the journey. It has been too long, Jikajin, us being side by side, needle to fingers. My first scientist who left me with glee that he would still study humans and the necro-fantasy. And I also have to get Lucy up to speed on where we are doing the ritual. She has come down from Idaho, and I would like to make this place just like home for the time being. And we can dissect the body after the ritual. I know Sasabek and Palza needed to have a motive for doing all of this, but I needed someone more experienced in their studies. Lucy has been doing tests on the brain, and learning how to stick and stab at the different twitches that we do not usually think about how your mind networks your whole body like a machine of sorts, how the spine cuddles the life force of everything intertwined so carefully, how we can evolve and push past a future where we can cut off primitive ways of thought. But all I have to do now is move this thing into the altar and wait. Even though people are coming, I am assuming they are on a tight clock and would not like to be waiting for something to happen, rather than the process has been set up and the switch ready to pull. And I can.
I should have been here a few days ago, but some of your students sabotaged my boat and made it die in the middle of the ocean with only fish and silence as my company. But oh, they have Mr. Alan Turing, a wonderful guest to have here. If they were going after him sulnoki, I would have given my hands to them.
I heard that you took the dummy boat to get here. That boat, regardless, was supposed to die when they got out enough. There were holes in the boat to let water flow through. The engine was basically cut down so it could not be traced. Even if you used paddles, it would have been paper and liquid. But I am glad that you could make it here nonetheless.
I see. Well, besides that, I have come back to see what happens to certain bodies that have been in the ground for years, and what we can learn and grasp from shocking them back to life for a short period of time. I remember those days of you teaching me on how to shock dead rabbits and other woodland creatures back to reality, but my nose got a little bit bloody, so I stepped away for a time.
Well, we both realized that this kind of science was not your place, rather than doing weather and studies of clouds. So many things I could have taught you if you stayed here a little bit longer, but you must live your life, and I will live mine. But Lucy is also coming down, so that makes it a little bit better for the both of us.
I remember Lucy like it was yesterday, playing around in the open garden, picking and studying millions of leaves and having our minds be thrust into the world of science and mystery. Sometimes we would even dissect animals here and there, but in school you had to stop because it was timed and then they contaminated the rest and threw it in the trash, rather than the open valleys of dead carcasses that we could experiment with till the sun went down. Even then we had a blast killing and gutting them and bringing back their organs to put in jars. I loved that we all three could play together throughout our adventures, and when she comes back it will be nostalgia all over again.
Even when we went off to venture further into our dreams, we still kept close what was necessary. Still, I have fond ideas every day about what we can do, even though so much time has passed. But after this, we will have to go to this new place that sells bread and butter. It is a nice little shop ran by old people with their young daughters doing the rest of the work. It might be possible to make more memories there, and I wish that we can just engorge on rye bread the most and just conversate. But it is almost time that Lucy has gotten here, and I think I hear Paulzu making a fuss about the ritual not starting yet. Besides getting the fluids out of him, this process would have gone so much smoother. So what I need you to do, June, is to help me with this upstairs and lay it on the altar. We can lift it with this bag so his body will not tear anymore. A chosen few times, I have worked with dead bodies that have been drenched in heavy liquids and such. But the fact that it almost took me a whole week to remove it means they deliberately soaked it in water for a period of days and then have the gall, the fucking nerve to tell me that they did not go through water. I saw the map and they could have easily waited for some type of change in the weather. It is not like they were there for months. They had spent a few years, maybe even more, locating the body, throwing people off their tracks, and finally digging it up and bringing it back here. But I cannot yell about it more than I already have. June, come on, the ritual will start soon, and I would like to be in a decent mood when it happens.
Alright, but Sulnoki, you cannot get mad at them this much. They are still learning about the process and methods to move things without damaging it. They will get the hang of it someday. But for today, I would like for you to let them off the hook. You even yelled at me a few times through teaching me, and I turned into the man I am because of that. Everyone has their own time and place to learn things, but
with all due respect, June, do not seep down to their level. I have yelled at you countless times because I saw grand potential in your work, in your desperate eyes wanting to learn more, the drive that you still have, even all these years later. I can still see the little boy wanting to get his hands dirty and grasp knowledge with a death grip. Do not compare yourself to them. They have started their studying just like you, but I still have promise in your words.
They said that they would be here in a few hours when I came here. I assume those two boys are laughing about jagged memories and other perils, still dreaming about the future. But that still does not mean that you have a lady waiting here with no entertainment. But by the book they have done great, horrifying things in the name of evolution and dreamlike creations. I can tell that they put their hearts into Nookwill Labs with nothing holding them back. I still can see vividly when Jikajin and Sulnoki were strapping people down in leather chairs and beds to be prodded and then lashed every which way to fulfill their ghoulish methods. I am not going to say that I was not friends with them. I was for a very long time and will still be here when we are old and gray, using walkers and canes, still ready to educate the young minds that come after us, and hoping that they do the same with the next generation. So many things we have been through, a bond that can never be killed off so easily. Oh.
Hello, Lucy. It has been too long since we were all in a room together like this. But life has its ways of bringing pathogens back to base. I see that you still want to learn about dead bodies and the properties of life. Though this work is sometimes grueling, hailed as disturbing by many who do not see the process of years coming to fruition, every explored cave, every unearthed bone and organ, every light bulb for thought and curiosity, all the things that interweave this lab and many that will come after it is a testament to Zijin.
We have studied for decades at a time, life at its ultimate cusp, to see the other side and gaze at the afterlife with no fear or broken minds. You know, the crazy thing is, we have always exhumed bodies when we were children, but never had the tools like we have today, besides the water that Sulnoki has gotten out of Alan Turing.
Which was a damn nightmare to deal with. Let alone my pupils lied about not treading through water. But besides, it is not a big deal now to whine about it. Continue.
We have seen both roads so many times it seems numb to all of us here, but since I am back here and we can play with the body after the ritual in fun, longing ways, I think it is about time to start the ritual.
I guess this is the time that we can finally learn how to awaken a dead body. We have always worked with either living people that had their minds shattered, dead people who we could dissect and learn throughout the days of cutting out their organs, and electrifying certain muscles and flesh to see something that could only be done in the body. We could dance all throughout the world and come back with more knowledge than anybody has ever known. We could do so many things, but today is a special day for us.
Yes, and we have always talked about resurrection and the study of the beyond. The places that we could only go to if we had special materials, malignant drinks given to us by Mr. Wagaloo, going through the forest and killing things and reaping the rewards, not in the Zulga forest, but in the real forest, to gnaw and gouge out so many things, and study them up close while the screams are still vibrant, when my hands can still feel the warm blood and have it pooling around my knees. But now we can finally see our work in action for the very first time. It felt like years to get into the rooms and cellars of Nookwill Labs, and that through more time being here, it was like a clammy, nerve-turning book that kept getting better while the new pages were still in development. I know that we will be doing rituals and laugh about the first time we saw one happen. Even now I can hear the floor rumbling and creaking from Dr. Sulnoki chanting those lustful words.
I feel like a whole different person watching these things happen. But won't he scream because he has been dead for decades? Will his body even stand after being in the ground for so long? Can Alan even talk when we...
Sasabek, calm down and wait. All questions will be answered when we get in there, and we can ask as many questions as we want while he is still breathing. I can feel life being brought back in the next room, and it just makes my bones shake. I can't wait for too much longer, but I know I have to. I have dreamed about rebirthing a human and seeing how they will act, but I want to rebirth a human from long ago rather than them dying yesterday. It will be fun to see what killed them, or old age, car crash, cancer, so many things. But either or, we can educate ourselves when we bring back people that have lived through hard times and ask them how to solve the world's questions and intertwine it with our tech. I am still on your question though, about how he will react when we have boosted him decades into the future. And even though he will be here for only a few days, I think, we can still learn so much from his words and movements. I feel Pull again, like all the work we have done means something, not to say the things leading up to now are nothing, but everything has a dream and a goal and the journey to get there. I wonder what he is going to look like. I have always wondered if he would look like the black and white from the TV screens, or look more modern for their time.
I think he would look like a charming, handsome man, in his prime besides a few things. But I cannot begin to tell you about after this. This means that he is going to teach us real necromancy, and it is not going to just be books this time. And that I can be hands-on with no words or mean lectures to bore out day by day. I can touch and prod all that I want to.
Yeah, but next time we should not go through the water. Besides being yelled at when we got off the boat, I can happily say that whether it had water or not, we still brung Mr. Alan Turing back to Nookville Labs for experimentation. Yes, I can see people rushing to the ritual room. All we have to do is sit back and learn and hear the wondrous words. Or screams from Mr. Turing.
Now that the bell has rung, all necrostudies participants please go to the ritual room for a rebirth of Mr. Alan Turing live. Note that when the ritual starts, the doors will be closed and Dr. Sulnoki, Jikajun, and Lucy will be uncontactable for that time. If you need any more questions and/or answers, please leave it on the respective desks, and always for anyone else who is not a participant in the ritual, move quickly and quietly to not disturb our other subjects.
And anyone who wants free snacks and fresh organs can report downstairs in the loading harbors. And if you want to play a little game with me, I would be so pleased to cut some time in to play hide the dagger.